So Brian, it's 3. Do you want to?
Guys, I've got to go take my kung fu class.
That's fine, but
I'm already late. If my teacher finds out,
so guys,
he makes me do push-ups on my knuckles.
Brian's gonna leave.
Are we doing one more story?
We're gonna Kelly's gonna come and sit and take his spot.
I need you for this one story.
I'm right here.
Okay, well, Brian, we'll do one last one, and then Brian has to go.
Hold on. Hello.
Yeah, hold on, guys.
$1 million? Call me when you're serious.
Dude, he's been doing that all day.
It was another deal.
I know
it's another deal
gone
That's how I
sour.
start whenever time they.
Well, they know your minimum is 10.
so
Why are
rich.
But they come in with
one?
lame offers.
Dude,
like that.
that's like the third.
They know the minimum.
5 million? You're getting closer. Just kidding. See what I just did?
I don't
so that's
know.
what you
Why are
have
they
to do.
trying to lowball you?
I would do anything for 5 million.
I know, but I'm a businessman. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Brian's challenge.
Yo, let me get to the last story. Well, the one more story,
ahead.
so Brian has to go, and we'll go right to
Hold
Brian.
on. Hello.
Oh, God, here we go.
9
Are we
inches.
9.
Are you doing the woke
stupid
one
joke.
right now?
Yeah, you're doing the woke,
Okay,
right?
gotcha.
All right, guys. So Adam is going to talk about really fast.
Such a bad joke. Bad jokes.
Just sign the deal for 10 already.
Sorry.
Enough's enough.
Sorry.
Pussyfooting around, think they're going to get you for half.
So,
for 5 mil.
Adam,
Unbelievable.
Adam, why
Sorry.
do woke women love terrorists? Tell us, and then ask Brian so he can go.
Woke white women, the WWW.
Yes.
So, it's college graduation season. You've seen what's going on there around all these campuses out there?
Yes.
Typical summer, typical United States of America.
Loving life.
Typical white women loving terrorists.
Yeah, I love that.
They love them. Can't get enough of them. We're sort of making fun of this, but it's actually not that funny, and it's actually kind of weird what's going on out there. So we've seen the campus protests. I'm all for peaceful protests.
Sure.
Right? But these are not exactly your typical peaceful protests. It's college graduation season, what's going on out there. But then we're starting to see these women out there, largely women. There's men, there's women. The men aren't exactly alpha men. They're just sort of like the feminist men. They're going along with the women that are pro-Hamas, that are pro-terrorist. Bill Maher came out and he said, Bill Maher says, the left is now marching for the terrorists.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering
freedom fighters?
The freedom fighters.
Yep.
And I'm wondering what is happening here in society. Did you ever think that the woke white women would be in love with the Islamic terrorists? I never saw that coming. So, and it got me thinking, what the hell is actually happening right there? And I did some research. It's almost like the Stockholm syndrome where you fall in love with your captor.
Yeah.
So I found this article right here. It was called Strange Bedfellows, the American Woke Progressives and the Islamists are in bed together. They're pulling that up right there. Yeah, there it is. Strange Bedfellows, how the Islamists and America's left are in cahoots. It's like, what is happening right here? So I went down this rabbit hole of like, let me get some research here. And I know this is why I want you to stay a little bit to weigh in on this, Brian Callen. Sometimes you think that political ideology or socio-political ideology is linear. All right, you got the left, and then you got the far left, and you got the right, and you got the far right, and they're diametrically opposed to each other. Well, what this horseshoe theory, this political horseshoe theory, basically suggests is that the far left lunatic fringe, the communists, the hardcore collectivists, Marxists, communists, which our friend Humberto knows all about.
And hates.
Yep.
Is way closer to the far right fanatical Islamists, jihadists, than you would think. Oh, so do you have the image of like the white girls protesting for Gaza? You've seen the whole gays for Gaza?
The best.
Where we know, free Palestine.
They all look the same. They're really hot. They're really hot.
They're just white, dreary white girls, and they're rooting for
Hamas.
these guys.
By the way,
You would
and
think
I'm
that-
actually happy that these photos of them are blurry.
Yes, we
'cause they
blurred out
look-
the photos so you didn't see what they were.
Yeah, we don't want them, we don't want to give them HD look. We don't want them to look handsome.
That. So I'm thinking, what kind of Stockholm weird syndrome is this? And then this article basically shed some light on it. So the extremes are actually more similar to what you think, and there's actually a lot of data there that would show this. So it's kind of like. Like the girl that's like, yeah, I hate my dad, my rich white dad. I hate him. Yeah. So I'm going to date the bad boy.
Of course.
I'm going to show him. These are the bad boys. Yeah. That these white college privilege, Harvard, Columbia, Cornell, Cal, USC, all these girls are now like, all right, Dad, I hate white men so much.
I'm going to go for
I hate America so much. Meet Muhammad.
Yeah.
My new boyfriend.
Yeah.
But I think some of it is also the way a lot of kids are educated. So, you go to college. The idea is to go to college to learn how to think, not what to think.
Yep.
And that's changed. But also, I think a lot of high school kids and even before that are being taught what? You have to go out there and change the world. And there's not a lot to sort of rail against in the United States. You got plenty of food. You got plenty of, you can speak your mind. There's a way to make money if you're not an idiot. There's all kinds of things. And so you've got to look at why are we so lucky? And why are some places struggling? Now, the very, very elementary way of looking at it is, and they'll be taught, I was taught this in school by my liberal professors and teachers. The United States is the exploiter, and that's why you have the banana republics and things like that. They never talk about the systems of government that are put in place that are the reason that you have such prosperity. If you look at Australia, for example, which was an isolated island, which was a convict colony, the fact that they are a rule of law, the fact that they have this parliamentary system, the fact that, again, power doesn't reside in one person's hands, that you get to benefit from your own ingenuity, that it was the Western ethos. It was embracing Western thought, Western philosophy, both political and philosophical, that gives birth to plenty. And these kids are not being taught that. Girls like that are being taught that there is what? There are oppressors and oppressed, power and powerless. That's why third and fourth wave feminism is very different than first and second wave feminism. First and second wave feminism was like, we just want the same equal rights as men. At first, they just want property rights to be able to divorce. We want reproductive rights. We want all these things. Now, it's third wave feminism came along and said, men want to kill you. And there is a war between the sexes. Men want to kill you. I'd rather run into a bear than a man. All those kinds of things, right?
Yep.
And now you've got these gals. They're not really interested in the nuances. They don't know what intifada means. They don't know what how Hamas started. They don't know what the river. They don't know what sea. They don't know anything about the geography. They don't know anything about the history. They certainly know nothing about the history of the Jews, where the Zionist movement was born. None of that. They're not interested in that. What they want to be is part of a cause. It gives them something to fight against. It gives them somewhere to place their guilt. And there's a lot of guilt to being a white or a privileged American going to the best universities in the world. They don't believe in borders, but they certainly are part of an institution where those walls are very expensive to get behind. I mean, to the tune of $100,000, but my dad's paying for it, so it's fine.
Exactly. And this is why I wanted you to weigh in on this, because Kelly, I just sent you a picture. I'm sure you can pull that up. But, so I was just in D.C. and I saw a lot of these protests. But you're absolutely right. This decolonialization, intersectionality, oppressed versus oppressor, 1619 Project. There I am. I tried to kill them with kindness. I'm speaking with a white liberal. I mean, so far left. I was like, hey, what you doing here, hon? Or I was like, hey, lady, she goes, why'd you assume my gender?
Oh my God.
Obviously, you're a beautiful woman. I just assumed. And then, of course, the other guy.
You should have just said that really slow. You should have gone like this. Should have gone.
If you can show the guy with the flag, he looked maybe of Middle Eastern descent. I don't know. I couldn't tell because he had a mask on his face. I go, interesting. I'm filming. I said, why the mask? He goes, there's a pandemic going on. I'm like,
oh God.
Still?
Yeah.
There's still the pandemic.
What happened?
A lot of these people, aren't emotionally very well.
I have a whole video of this. But there's some similarities here. Number one, they hate the West and they hate Western values. We have it so good here that you're looking for things to.
That's what I was just gonna say.
To complain about victim.
There's nothing going
culture,
on wrong.
Victim mentality. So there's death to America. Who shouts death to America? Who's the leading death to America people out there?
Michigan?
Iran. Well, yes, in Michigan.
Michigan.
But Iran had started, I think North Korea had started. We talked about this on PBD podcast. Death to America, death to a West, trickles down to anti-democracy, anti-representative democracy, anti-Israel, and then the Jews have always been the canary in the coal mine. You've talked about that before. But this intersectionality of Marxist, communist collectivists and Islamics, jihadics, fundamentalists, it's like they're number 1 and 2 on the death scoreboard. Number 1 is the communists. Whether it's Mao, whether it's Stalin, whether it's Lenin, I mean, they're killing it. They're number 1. Number 2, it's like, you want to complain about what's going on in Gaza? It sucks. Nobody wants to see kids. Why don't you call for a ceasefire in Sudan or in Syria or in Afghanistan?
Yemen.
Or Yemen, where there's been a civil war going. So I have to think, as I've talked about, no Jews, no news. Yeah, if there's no Jews, killing the Palestinians here. Don't worry about the hundreds
Do you know
of millions.
do you know how many people how many Palestinians Hamas killed? Do you know that anybody
Yes.
who was a
when they
member
were elected
of,
in 2006,
anybody who was
they
a member
killed
of
the PLA.
Fatah? Yeah, I
they're
mean,
dead.
they were thrown off roofs and killed. They were all
Exactly.
So
So
stop.
nobody wants
it's
to
a
talk
criminal
about that.
organization. It's a criminal organization. They are responsible. They hijack all the food aid and everything else.
I can't. And I
Here's some of the similarities, and I'm going to give it up.
Go ahead.
So I kind of wrote down some. These are what are the similarities between the far left and the far right extremists. Number one, they love cancel culture. If
time.
you offend them,
cancel.
you know, some will silence you, some will literally kill you.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Yep.
You know, you talk too much, straight to jail. You don't talk enough, straight to jail.
Overcooked chicken.
Exactly. So if you offend them, do you remember the Charlie Hebdo thing? Like,
Yeah, of course.
you can't draw a picture
Of Muhammad.
of
Oh, no.
I see
Will
pictures,
machine
cartoons.
gun you to death.
Machine gun
you're
Kelly
dead.
would show up at your house. I see pictures of
Jesus.
of
and
Jesus.
Jews. I
like,
see it all the time.
It's insane. So, God forbid you use incorrect words on these people. Number two, they have the government control of the media, state-run media, government control, nationalization of industry, of corporations. That's what they want.
Yep.
That's what's going on. Iran is, we know, the biggest advocate and ally of Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis, the Triple H, what I call them. They're the biggest outsourcers of terrorism around the globe. It all comes from Iran. Women, gender equality, we talk about this. These women, the gays for Gaza, that makes no sense to me. The women here, good luck going outside, honey, without your hijab or your ninja outfit in Iran. We saw the 2022 rise up there. They killed them all in Iran. It's just the double standard here is insane. The DEI in Iran and these theocratic regimes, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, there's no diversity. It's all the men that run society. There's no equity. There's no equality. What's the last one?
Inclusion.
Inclusiveness. Women are second-class citizens in this world. So I'm just saying, when the women are rooting for the oppressor.
Well, they might be. You have to be, again, fair, because a lot of these girls and guys and these students are actually outraged at the civilian deaths, right? So they're looking at that. So it's some of them do make a big distinction between Palestinian civilians and people and Hamas. But you have to remember this. So do half of the Israelis out there. Before October 7th, I promise you, you could find a ton of Israelis who not only went into Gaza, who worked with Gazans, who worked with Palestinians, who were vehemently against the far right's illegal settlements of the West Bank. I went to the West Bank. I can tell you they were there. There were a lot of Palestinians, especially in the Labor Party. Remember, the Knesset is broken up into the Labor Party and the Likud. Likud is the right-wing party. Yep. Netanyahu, to stay in power, had to align himself with all the hard-line.
There's a further right party than the Likud party.
They're
That's
like
why he stays
the
in power.
Talmudic
Yes.
crazies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he'll pay a price for that. But either way, I think at the end of the day, there is a distinction. But to your point, Adam, everybody was very quiet when all those Muslims were killed in all those other countries. They were very quiet when Hamas was killing a whole bunch of Palestinians that they haven't talked about. Every time I see those guys protesting, why are you not talking about the hostages?
Yes.
Why are you not talking about the fact that Hamas came over and unprovoked did some horrible and unspeakable things? You got to talk about that, but they don't.
Thank you, Brian.
And you're calling them freedom fighters, which means you are making a moral equivalency and you are bankrupt intellectually, historically, and morally. I got to get out of here.
This is why I'm so offended. This is why. I love that. This is what I ask these people, all these protesters. They go, "Oh, so you're protesting against the innocent civilians?" I'm with you. I don't want any innocent civilians. What psychopath wants innocent civilians other than the jihadists?
Yeah.
What other war protests, anti-war protests have you been to? Have you been to any others?
No.
And the answer is always zero.
No.
None.
Yeah. Zero.
So the double standard is so ridiculous to me. I get it. Nobody wants to see innocent Palestinians. But by the way, women and children, there's women suicide bombers. By the way, children, you could be 17 and attack, just like the guy out in Australia that attacked
of course, the stabbing guy.
Bishop
17.
on-
They're just
So
hypocrites.
it's just the moral equivalency of a democracy that's trying to defend themselves and a terrorist organization that's trying to commit genocide
Once they rolled
is crazy to me.
Once they rolled Greta Thunberg out for this cause after
you
the
go.
climate change,
Yeah.
we're done. Go.
Yeah,
Greta.
once
go.
Greta came
That's
out, we're
it.
done.
Once Greta's done, straight
All right,
to jail.
but guys, listen, Brian, Adam, I love you to death. Brian, the fact that you took off the modeling, you canceled it just to come here. I appreciate you more than you know.
Got to shoot right now.
So you have another modeling shoot, and then after the shoot, he's performing with me and Rob at the Dania Beach Improv.
Yep.
This weekend, tonight, two shows on Saturday, one show on Sunday, the Lord's Day. But you have a really good relationship with God, so it's
do
okay.
it. Right now, I'm going to do some tasteful nude series.
A nude series.
Where I
Right.
pose on a log and I wear cat ears. It's amazing.
Cat
Where
ears.
can we,
It's
where
called
can we
Man
find this?
Cat.
Oh my
It's
God!
called
No,
Man
we'll
Cat.
tell you after the
down?
show. But and
It's
by-
called Man Cat, and subtitles is "That's Not a Tail."